Oh, where am I? Ooh, exit to solo layer. Oh, what's that? Solo. I don't know how this is done. This has changed everything. Oh, there I am. Hello. How are you? My name is Joanna. I'm a law student from Australia, and welcome back to my channel. I was really wondering what if I was going to be here tonight. I just thought I need a break, but then I I just can't keep up with it all. I just cannot keep up with it all. So I thought, look, I've got to try and keep up. And there's still one we haven't done yet. But look, let's start with Instagram and make our way there. I think I've got a couple of things that we can do here. She's done a few live streams. So that's right. This is, oh, yeah. So let's have a look. So there were two Instagram lives she did yesterday. She's done another one. She did another one today, or another video today. I don't know if it was a video or whatever. So she's got another one. So we're going to look at that. She was saying that,
22 when a group of the dancers, which you all saw in the series, would meet together on Friday afternoons and talk about their issues that were happening within the church. During these discussions, everyone was there but Miranda. James would attend, and apparently James would go and he would hear everything about what was happening. He would hear from the other girls about their experiences with Robert, which were described as creepy. And Miranda was always mysteriously absent. In these same meetings, James allegedly told his friends that Miranda was expressing her own doubts about leaving, and he told his friends that he allegedly told Miranda that if she were to leave, she would have to leave alone because he was going to stay, and that if she did leave, that she would not believe in redemption. Several of her friends and the dancers pushed back at James and told him that he was manipulating Miranda to stay, and he would not budge. James allegedly did this to his ex-wife in another cult when she also expressed her own concerns about their other pastor, David, who was also a registered SO and had been accused of SA. Angela has previously shared in comments on my posts that James would frequently tell her that men of God are not perfect. They are still men, and all men make mistakes. And any man can be redeemed as long as they ask for repentance and repent for what they've done. In the case of Robert Shin, he has never asked for forgiveness from anyone related to everything that's come out, and he's instead denied everything. So James has allegedly made Miranda feel like she can't leave or she'll be walking away from God. James's ex-wife, Angela, actually had to leave him and leave the church in order to save herself and their son. James didn't leave until years later when his friend Tight-Eyes finally cut ties with their previous pastor. In this case, people do believe that James will also not leave until Tight-Eyes leaves, and he will also allegedly manipulate Miranda to stay. In Shekinah Church, women are taught to submit to their husbands, so Miranda literally has no power. Not only must she submit to Robert, she also must submit to her mentor, Hannah, and submit to James. Miranda really is the lowest person on the totem pole and has no power and may stay until James leaves. Miranda Derrick has actually
wow, what a mouthful that was. Hello, short order. How are you? So yeah, so she's got that. So this is we didn't look at this like this is all hearsay, second, third, or fourth hand issue. I think she's reading from a script. She has to be. I love it how she says I've spoken to multiple sources. This one is a live stream, but this is the one we're going to look at tonight. We're going to have to go backwards. So now she's taken exception to a post. Now, Robert is now using Miranda to mock claims of SA against Tight-Eyes and himself with her recent story yesterday. I titled a live stream discussing that Tight-Eyes and Robert are very similar. I titled it Birds of a Feather. He had Miranda respond with a story of her kissing her dog to the song Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Robert is now using Miranda to mock victims and mock claims of SA. She is a pawn in his sick game. He's ruining her career. Now, here is the thing. Will says KJ's the lowest on the rung, not Miranda. Here's the thing. Why she is linking everything. If If Miranda posted a picture of herself on the toilet, for example, KJ would be saying that she's having a she would be saying that they're having a go at her, you know. And Kylie Douglas.
I cannot be defeated. Somebody say, I cannot be defeated.
So if you have the audio on in my last clip, and then you also read the caption I wrote of like, it's the voice for me, I want to explain that a little bit, because in Dancing for the Devil, the Netflix documentary that's out right now, there's clips and recordings of Robert actually speaking and of what he actually was teaching and preaching on the pulpit during services. And that last clip is one of many of him, speaking. And every time I like rewatch the documentary and I just hear his voice.
If you get triggered by it, why are you watching the documentary? I mean, the simple thing is to not watch it.
Ugh, it just reminds me of being there.
I cannot be defeated. Somebody say, I cannot be defeated.
I mean, I cannot be defeated is actually... So anyway, so let's have a look at this. It is a colloquialism, so now she's got this.
In the past, wanted to leave.
So she likes to... Now, there are lots of people in the comp world that need to wake up and stop following this man. He's a monster. What's the context? I don't know, Short Order Cook. That's the whole point. There's no context. But if she's saying that she's getting triggered watching the documentary, my thing is don't watch the documentary. Isn't that simple? Robert uses Miranda's Insta to mock victims of SA that have accused tie-dyes of him and of R. Because now don't come in my comments and call this a stretch and call this, she says, don't come into my comments and call this a stretch. I know Robert. She knows Robert, apparently, and how he moves and everything they post is methodical and intentional. He had her post this less than 24 hours after I called Robert and tie-dyes birds of a feather. Robert is so obsessed with hating me. This is absolutely his response. I swear she's totally in love with it. And if Miranda had Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, KJ would say it's a message for people to commit arson on a house. Correct. Will. Cheap laugh. She's faking it. She's trying not to smirk. Of course. Robert wants to be famous. Praise the Lord. It says she didn't go to her grandfather's funeral, but she can go to red carpet event. All these people are opportunists and only care about money. And then there's that. So Hayley Joyless has actually got her latest live on a video for us. She did a YouTube, which I've linked in the post. It's called The Cult Watches Everything I Do. So this was her Instagram today. Katie Joy believes Robert Shin has his alleged cult members sending her secret messages. As I said, I would have believed it if it was a sandwich that was sent to her. I would say it was the cult. Hi, Check Glass. Good morning, Joe in chat and KJ. The world doesn't revolve around you. What did you think of the reviews from IBDM? They're quite scathing, aren't they?
Sorry, there's like a fan, and my hair is always moving, and if I start messing with my hair, it is not like because I'm an annoying narcissist or whatever like that. It's just
what? It's not because she's an annoying narcissist. What?
Sorry, there's like a fan, and my hair is always moving, and if I start messing with my hair, it is not like because I'm an annoying narcissist or whatever like that. It's just
an annoying narcissist.
I have a fan above me and my hair gets all messy. But Welcome to this live stream. I want to talk with you really quickly because I have some news for you.
Here we go again. Or she's got a tick. Oh. She's on every channel listening to what they say, especially about it. Correct. I mean, I can't talk. My hair's very unruly at the moment.
You know, Robert Shin loves me.
I've not heard him mention her name once, but I hear her mention his name every single day of the week. Who loves who? Who loves you, pretty baby?
He loves me so much that he has trolls harassing me. He uses his dancers to send messages to me. He tries to counterbalance everything that I report about him. And yesterday, I shared that Tight Eyes, Mr. Tight Eyes, is a bird of the same feather as Robert Shin. Okay, so most of you know that Tight Eyes claims to be the founder of Crump when he's really not. He didn't create Crump. He doesn't own Crump.
Haiti Jonas has put their Tight Eyes, known for the creation of Crump. He's a Crump.
A bird of the same feather.
Oh, I've got to go back to that.
He uses his dancers to send. Robert Shin loves me.
I think she wants a Dom Daddy. You sure a Dom Daddy or a Sugar Daddy?
He loves me so much that he has trolls harassing me. He uses his dancers to send messages to me. He tries to counterbalance everything that I report about him. And yesterday, I shared that Tight Eyes, Mr. Tight Eyes, is a bird of the same feather as Robert Shin. Okay, so most of you know that Tight Eyes claims to be the founder of Crump when he's really not. He didn't create Crump. He doesn't own Crump. He's not the founder of Crump. Crump was born from clowning, Tommy the Clown, where Tight Eyes was a dancer before he was kicked out of Tommy the Clown's group.
Birds of a feather, dumb. Correct.
Group for being a bad guy. And he went into the church to cover up for being that bad guy. And he decided that he needed to turn clowning into Crump. And then he turned it into Crump. You support me. Thank you. So Crump is not the kingdom of whatever mighty praise that Tight Eyes wants you to believe it is. It is and never was about religion until Tight Eyes was kicked out of clowning by Tommy, and then they had to cover up for atrocious behavior and criminal activity that occurred involving people. And
it says Crumpian was created by two dancers, Tight Eyes and Joe Big Ratty in South Central Los Angeles during the 2000s. Clowning is a less aggressive predecessor to Crumpian and was created in 1992 by Tommy the Clown Johnson in California. So
religion until Tight Eyes was kicked out of clowning by Tommy, and then they had to cover up for atrocious behavior and criminal activity that occurred involving people. And that information caused him to decide that Crump was going to be about God, because he thought that if he could hide in religion and make Crump about God, somehow it would he would forget that what he did or what his friend did or whatever. Okay. So, yeah, my dog. So anyways, I wanted to share this. Like, he has this issue where he goes from like group to group, and he's like got a horrible reputation. He's really putting like a bad name on the Crump world.
What the heck is she saying 100 words that she could have said in 10? No wonder no one understands her or what's going on. Oh, that's right. No one understands. I mean, she's goes around in circles. Mhm.
A lot of Crumpers are super upset because of the message of the documentary. And I just want to be clear, like, nobody in the documentary ever intended. Yeah, my DMs are open, King of Crump. So you call me or you contact me. I don't know. There's a lot of history here, the message of the documentary. And I just want to be clear, like, nobody in the documentary ever intended. Yeah.
What did they never intend? They never intended to what? Finish your sentence, but then she's just distracted because somebody's jumped into the chat.
My DMs are open, King of Crump. So you call me or you contact me. I don't know. There's a lot of history here, and he's hiding right now in Robert's church. And the reason why he's hiding in Robert's church is because when he left hospitality, he did more bad things, and other women accused him of doing those bad things. And so he ran to Robert's church to again hide behind religion. And it's not about Crump. It's about Tie-Dye's not being a good guy. Like, it's not about the dance. The dance has nothing to do with it. He's hiding.
What? What? Nothing to do it? Nothing to do. What's she on? What's she talking about? What are you talking about, Willis? So the live she did yesterday, she's essentially said that Tie-Dye is accused of R-ing and SA and all the same stuff Robert Shin's been accused of. And now, so she's now been thrown into that mix of allegations. I mean, technically, there could be another lawsuit coming her way.
In a cult now to try to get away from these allegations that women have come forward with against him. In 2022,
how would joining the church stop the allegations? It wouldn't. What was the intention of the movie? KJ's intention for the movie wasn't taken on. They've tiptoed through the whole docuseries, but not KJ. She's the bull in the china shop. Correct.
I had a bunch of women in my inbox basically accusing him of very horrible things. And there's a number of women that have made these allegations against him. So much so that he was an idiot and made a diss track. I mean, the guy has he's not thinking clearly. I'll tell you that, because if you've been accused of R, the last thing you should do is make it.
Okay, so where are the police reports? Where's the evidence? Because anybody can accuse anybody of anything. But there has to be evidence, there has to be reports, there has to be all of this stuff. Someone just coming into your inbox and saying that so-and-so did such and such to me is not evidence.
Diss track saying I've been accused of R, I've been accused of DV, but my other friends are doing it, so look at them, they have dirt. And then say, this is what I think is weird. He says, I want my enemies dead, right? So he says that they've been accused of doing this stuff, right? He's been accused of R, he's been accused of DV, but he says, I want my enemies dead because they're telling people this. So, like, for instance, if your enemies are spreading a false report about you and they're accusing you of something that isn't true, why would you want them dead? That's so severe. Why don't you just sue them or something? Why don't you just, why would you want your enemy dead if they were just lying?
It's a song, right? It's a rap song.
It seems more like, and then he says, there's no truth to what my enemy said. Well, if there's no truth, then who cares? If there's no truth, what's with the anger? Just, there's no truth, right? You said, I want my enemies dead, but there's no truth to it, right? I want my enemies dead, but there's no truth to what my enemy said. That's your rhyme. So if that's not true, then sue them. It seems a little severe to jump from a false allegation to wanting someone dead. A lot of times people will hurt people. He says he forced himself on my ex-girlfriend actually and ruined my relationship with my ex, well as opened my heart to what's really going on and have been. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry that happened to her.
Has she listened to Rap Before Sis Cheap Class? I don't know. As I said, that sounds like a normal rap song. It would help. It would actually help if she provided the song. Correct, Will.
So this is like one story of many of tie-dyes. He's saying that his ex-girlfriend was forced on by tie-dyes, allegedly. I don't know. But so is King of Crump then an enemy that you want dead because he knows something? It just feels like when you say something that severe about someone, you would literally want to hurt them because they know something that could put you in prison, not because they lied about you.
I think she shared it in her Instagram. Look. I'm sure she shared it. Or did she take it down? She shared it in just this very small snippet of it, apparently. But
what do I know? Anyways,
not
in my posts yesterday, I basically just said that like tie-dyes has gotten into a point with this new cult where he and Robert are like, he wants to be like Robert. He says that you're the enemy, right? He wants you dead. And that's ridiculous. Like, why does he want you dead for telling your story? So he says you're lying, then why does he want you dead? If you're lying, he should sue you, right? He doesn't lie. If you're not telling the truth, he should sue you. But instead he said he wants you dead, which is like a threat, which is weird to say that, right? He also in the same track goes off on Prissy. Prissy knows where all the here's the thing about Prissy. Prissy knows where all the bones are buried. Prissy could make one phone call and put him into prison for life. And I'm not kidding about that. Prissy could make one phone call and he could be arrested.
Really? Is this like the big petition that you're running that, again, has no evidence with?
And so that's why he's going hard after Prissy. And she said that today in a live stream. She said, I know your secrets. I know what you did. I know what you did with your friend. I could put you in prison. Okay. So anyways, I did a post where I said birds of a feather. So I want to show you this. This is my post. And if you look at the bottom, it says the truth, birds of a feather. Okay. This was my yesterday's live stream, birds of a feather. So Robert Shin is obsessed with me. He loves me. Hi, Roberto. This is Miranda's story. And it's Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish.
Like, really? And so from that,
I say Birds of a Feather yesterday. And then today, he has Miranda put up a story to Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather. I know he's watching me, but he's doing this intentionally to make it like, to switch the narrative, to like.
Yeah, but she watches him. But he can't watch her, even though she watches him. I don't think he's watching her. I think the lawyers are watching. I know the puppy's cute. He's in a high SD.
Like, play a game. And he's trying to make it like this sweet thing now, right? Like Miranda and her dog are birds of a feather. Not, he wants you to think of that instead of Roberto and Ches are birds of a feather, right?
Maybe that was the intention, that Miranda and her dog are.
In the middle of all of this, there's this poor woman named Miranda, right? Who is being used as a pawn in this game. And she's being told what to post, very obviously. He is posting, now her husband isn't in videos with her anymore, you guys. It's only Miranda in videos. James is no longer in videos. It's really weird, right? Why is James all of a sudden not posting?
Actually, someone said birds of a feather in the chat recently before KJ said those words. So KJ's playing the game too. I can't remember whose bid it was.
Why is James being so quiet? Why isn't Roberto directing James to say something and not just Miranda? Because Miranda is the pretty white girl. She's beautiful. She's marketable. That's what he likes. Like, his two marketable people are Slavic and Miranda. And those are the two he's pumping out right now. And everyone else is hidden except for Tie-Dyes, who is doing his stupid crump stuff.
Oh, crump stuff's stupid, is it? But if he's doing crump stuff, then he's not hidden.
And
the two things KJ hates: successful, beautiful women.
Why is James being silent? Why are they making James look like an incompetent husband? He looks like an incompetent husband. I just want to say this to you. Like, James.
Really? An incompetent? Well, I think your husband's a bit incompetent too, but, you know, if he was competent, he would have hidden the he would have taken the Wi-Fi off you. Birds of a feather. You know, he would have locked away the Wi-Fi. I use birds of a feather pretty regularly. I thought it was a common current phrase. Wasn't there a British UK show called Birds of a Feather? And it was the two sisters, and there was that Dorian. Oh, what's it called? Was it Birds of a Feather? It was a UK series, and that was called Birds of a Feather. And there were two sisters, and the friend Dorian, the neighbour Dorian. I'm sure that was called Birds of a Feather. Was that right? I think I'll have to do a search. I think. I didn't mind that show. Yes, they were sisters. Yes, that's right. Chalk and cheese. Yes. So I was on the right track. Cheap Glasses. Yes, I used to watch it. And Charlotte says, yes, I used to watch it. And one was rich and one was poor. Because one's husband was in jail for bank robbery or something, and the money, yeah, that was it. Yes, it was Chalk and Cheese. That's right, but it was called Birds of a Feather. Yeah.
You look like an incompetent husband if you're going to allow your wife to be used as a pawn in a man's game to attack people.
You look like an incompetent husband when you allow your wife to be on the internet 24/7 talking about one man that's not you. We'll hear us say Chalk and Cheese soon.
You're putting your wife out and you're hanging her out to dry. You're allowing another man to hang your wife out to dry. And you're just going along with it. You're not doing what husbands and wives, we're supposed to protect each other. We're not supposed to put other people above our relationships.
Oh, she's got, oh boy, I'm not supposed to. Yeah, but you've got Robert Sheen above your relationship. Oh, you're not supposed to put, but all you do is talk about Robert Sheen. All she does is talk about another man incessantly.
And you're allowing a man to be in the middle of your relationship.
So is she. Did she finally get a crystal ball? How else would she know what's happening all the way on the other side of the country? Says SD. And Cheap Grass says it's very interesting that Tidy has the same hairstyle as KJ. Who copied who? Really? That's interesting.
And tell you what to post and how to respond.
If irony could kill, Will says. Isn't it ironic It's very ironic.
James isn't pathetic. I want to be clear. James is not pathetic. James is being manipulated and misled, and he has a history of following really bad people. Of course, this troll is like, why are you just saying the pretty white girl? Because Robert plays the race card, okay?
She has multiple men in the middle of her relationship. Duggars, Robert Sheen, Cody. That's right, and it's always men. The queen of do as I say. This is pure comedy. That's right, sure. The cook. It is. It's a comedy. Oh.
Robert plays a race card. Robert uses stereotypes. That's why I say the pretty white girl. Robert puts them in stereotypical roles. If a pretty white girl is looking all sad and like cute with her puppy, right? That's his MO. He puts people in stereotypical roles because he himself is, in my opinion, racist. He told you guys about that in the series.
But he's Asian.
You heard him in his own voice say to race bait. So he's using the stereotype of what she is. She'll use, and he also.
Oh, great. Now we're going to be singing this in ironical day. It's a bit like that, you know.
Uses the stereotype for Kendra. He makes Kendra look like an angry woman.
It's not racist to use what works. True. And I always find it, I always do find it amusing when they talk about a minority being delusional, being racist. A scarce. I know I'm not delusional. KJ's chin is pointing in the opposite direction that usually does. Has she had it rotated to disguise her from Shin? Good point, Scout. I've got no idea. Very good question there. I don't know.
And he's got Ches out there screaming and yelling too, right? But you know, Miranda is the docile, like victim, innocent flower, because that's the stereotype. I'm not trying to like, my hair keeps getting in my face. Like if you're annoyed with my hair, you're leaving this chat. I told people when I started this chat that the fan is literally coming up here, and so it keeps going in my face, and I don't like when hair touches my face. And if that bothers you, if you're so bothered
You're so bothered because her hair touches her face? Really? White women don't have puppy. Can't wait till Miranda changes her hair to red, blue, or purple. It's a short order cook cheap blouse. Ugly white women don't have puppies. That's true, cheaper. KJ has no idea that hair ties exist.
with her puppy, right? That's his MO. He puts people in stereotypical roles because he himself is, in my opinion, racist. He told you guys about that in the series. You heard him in his own voice say to race bait. So he's using the stereotype of what she is. She'll use, and he also uses the stereotype for Kendra. He makes Kendra look like an angry woman. And he's got Ches out there screaming and yelling too, right? But you know, Miranda is the docile, like victim, innocent flower, because that's the stereotype. I'm not trying to like, my hair keeps getting in my face. Like if you're annoyed with my hair, you're leaving this chat. I told people when I started this chat that the fan is literally coming up here, and so it keeps going in my face, and I don't like when hair touches my face. And if that bothers you, if
that bothers you, nick off.
like victim, innocent flower, because that's the stereotype. I'm not trying to like, my hair keeps getting in my face. Like if If you're annoyed with my hair, you're leaving this chat. I told people when I started this chat that the fan is literally coming up here, and so it keeps going in my face, and I don't like when hair touches my face. And if that bothers you, if you're so bothered about my hair, just like, I'm gonna touch my hair as much as I want. Look, I'm gonna touch it all day.
This is comedy. This is comedy. Why don't they? Why isn't Netflix showing this on the comedy channel? This is pure gold. Is she 45 or 5? That's a very good question, isn't it? Oh dear. Oh, this is hilarious.
Keep touching my hair. Look at how much I'm gonna touch it. Does this bother you that I'm touching my hair? Does it bother you? I must be drunk because I'm touching my hair, right?
Netflix, this is the person you mute.
Okay.
Oh, this is gold.
Anyways, I have a fan that's on my neck. It's right up here, and so my hair keeps blowing. Okay. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, it's just really weird what people get upset with in live streams.
Turn the fan off. That's what I do. Oh, I didn't realize this was so funny.
Sorry. I always touch my hair. Anyways, because it's something for them to complain about, okay? It's something for them to complain about. Anyways, okay, what was I saying? So the birds of a feather, they flock together, okay? The birds of a feather, they flock together. So tie-dyes and Ches are birds of a feather. They're two men that are cut from the same cloth. They treat women the same way. They are opportunists, in my opinion. They look at everything as an opportunity. They use people.
Who's Ches? Who's this Ches that she's talking about? So she's saying Ches? I thought it was tie-dyes and Robert were birds of the feather. Now she's put somebody else in. Shave your head. Well, that would solve it. I don't know how she'd look bald, though.
They discard people. They are narcissistic, and they're two birds of a feather. Two birds of a feather. He's there with Robert because tie-dyes can't go anywhere else. He has burned every bridge left.
Now she's saying, so she talked about Ches and tie-dyes. Now she's back to tie-dyes and Robert. I don't know who I don't think she remembers who she's talking about. Is that right? Is that what she said? Ches and Robert?
Face, and I don't like when hair touches my face. And if that bothers you, if you're so bothered about my hair, just like, I'm gonna touch my hair as much as I want. Look, I'm gonna touch it all day. And keep touching my hair. Look at how much I'm gonna touch it.
This is the clip I want 7M to use in court and to show this is a journalist.
Does this bother you that I'm touching my hair? Does it bother you? I must be drunk because I'm touching my hair, right? Okay. Anyways, I have a fan that's on my neck. It's right up here, and so my hair keeps blowing. Okay, anyways. Sorry. Anyways, it's just really weird what people get upset with in live streams. Sorry. I always touch my hair. Anyways.
This cut is about to go viral for sure. How did you think this would help her? I don't know why. Is this something she learned from Barbara Waltz or something?
Because it's something for them to complain about, okay? It's something for them to complain about. Anyways. Okay, what was I saying? So the birds of a feather, they flock together, okay? The birds of a feather, they flock together. So tie-dyes and Ches are birds of a feather. They're two men that are cut from the same cloth. They treat women the same way. They are opportunists, in my opinion.
Yeah, so now she's talked about Ches and tie-dyes, okay? So here she's talking about Ches, guy called Ches, guy called tie-dye.
And they look at everything as an opportunity. They use people. They discard people. They are narcissistic. And they're two birds of a feather. Two birds of a feather. He's there with Robert because tie-dyes can't go anywhere else. He has burned every bridge left.
Now she said he's there with Robert because he's burnt every bridge. So now she's back to tie-dyes.
Okay. No one wants him back. Crump doesn't want him back. Crump is embarrassed by him. Crump is saying, you don't speak for us.
Crump is a type of dance.
Crump isn't about tie-dyes. But
crump is a phrase of different. Crump is a dance. I didn't know that it was a person.
tie-dyes is being really dumb with his diss tracks because when he decides to poke the bear, like at Chrissy, and she knows where the bones are buried, that's not a good look. And
we're back talking about a Chrissy again. Has anyone really worked out what she's saying, talking about here?
You have to just keep watching. And if you are going to...
She's acting like Crump is a person. That's correct. She's acting like Crump is a person.
Watch her stories. Come to my page and see what she's responding to. Why is she saying birds of a feather? Because yesterday that's what I called Robert and Ches, because they're birds of a feather.
She didn't say it in a song. Yes, lesson time. I can't. I'm on the floor with this.
And so Robert's response is, look at this cute girl with a dog. They're birds of a feather. To take away from the fact that the real birds of a feather flock together means, like, if you are a bad dude, other people around you are generally a bad dude.
Just so that you know, right? Let me just show you this. Birds of a feather flock together. People of the same sort or with the same tastes and interests will be found together. It doesn't mean that if one person's bad, they're all bad. Meaning that if of similar type, interest, personality, character, or other distinctive attributes tend to mutually associate.
Why is she saying birds of a feather? Because yesterday that's what I called Robert and Ches, because they're birds of a feather. And so Robert's response is, look at this cute girl with a dog. They're birds of a feather. To take away from the fact that the real birds of a feather flock together means, like, if you are a bad dude, other people around you are generally a bad dude.
I didn't see that in the definition that you're a bad dude. It means that everyone else around you are. That's right, Angela. And 3 people listeners found there's a crump. One is tie-dyes. Yeah.
People that hurt other people like to surround themselves with people that hurt other people. So you need to just think about that. And I have to read the comments because even if it's on playback, I can see my comments and some of you are having questions, some of you are sharing, and I'm going to answer questions from time to time, but I don't have a lot of time because I have to get to my channel and make content. But I came on here to just share with you that the Birds of a Feather is not about Miranda and her dog.
No, it means people who like-minded tend to want to get it correct. And it tends to mean that sometimes people who have similar beliefs hang out together as well.
It's a psychological game. It is. He wants to make this like, he's just trying to change the narrative with everything. He wants to change the narrative with everything. Like, for instance, one of the lawsuit claims has to do with them trying to tell a girl to get an abortion, and they told her that no babies were allowed because they're a distraction. Guess who had a baby last year, or just a few months ago? One of his high-ranking mentors. So after years of not allowing people to have kids in his cult, once he gets sued because a woman was shamed and told to have an abortion, now suddenly the woman that shamed her had a baby. So there you go. That's what he does. He tries to debunk everything. So if you say you don't get to see your friends, then all of a sudden you're going to see them post photos with their friends. If someone says that they have no control over their lives, he's going to let them travel or whatever. He's just constantly trying to debunk every single narrative with something new to try to like appease the public so that they don't think that he's a cult.
So they can do those things then. No, your tinfoil hat is just too tight. You've lost too many members. Oh, I'm glad I watched this. I'm so glad I wasn't going, I was going to go to bed and not bother with this. I'm so glad I watched it. Oh, boy. Oh.
Or he's a cult leader. But what's happening is she's a pawn in his game. And everything that she's putting up right now has to do with Robert. It's being directed by Robert. And if you notice, her husband James is not posting anything. He hasn't posted anything since May 31st. Robert is completely like packing it up and putting James in the closet and saying like, we don't need you right now, James. We don't need you. We don't need you to be a part of this discussion, which is weird. If you're a married couple, why would you not want to be there to defend your partner? Why would you want your partner to be like out on a limb like this and taking the fall for all of you and being the one that's forced to be in the public sphere and like taking the brunt of the hate?
Yeah, yes, Toad. Why is that? Oh boy, this has been hilarious.
Right? Like that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of people that are opportunists that are part of the story. They're all around these dancers. So keep your eyes out and look. Like a lot of people yesterday were upset with, or over the weekend were upset with Allison Volker because she took Miranda out on a red carpet, right? Why would Allison, knowing what she knows about it, take Miranda out on a red carpet? If she really cared about Miranda, why wouldn't she have had Miranda over to her house and answer, like just be there for her friend? Why did she have to parade it in the public? And I just want to add that Allison isn't just friends with Miranda. She's also friends with Kylie and Aubrey. She was friends with Kylie and Aubrey. So how do you think it makes Kylie feel when she's burying her, like putting her soul out to the world, talking about what Robert has done to her and how it damaged her relationship? Aubrey and Kylie broke up because of everything that happened. He assaulted Kylie. And then Allison.
Allegedly. So essentially, Allison is hanging out with Miranda, even though Kylie thinks she should be hanging out with so no one's allowed to hang out with Miranda because Katie Joyce says she can't, right? Is that what we've worked out?
Is not being there for Kylie. She's being there for Miranda. Well, who's getting the most press right now? Who's getting the most attention in the media? Who is everyone talking about? Miranda. So when you take Miranda to a red carpet for Netflix, only days after Miranda says she's terrified because people are sending her threats because of a project on Netflix, it makes Miranda look like she's lying and not afraid. It's rubbing your nose in that claim. It's flaunting Miranda at Netflix. And you're also, in my opinion, doing that because you know you're going to get attention and you're going to get eyes on you. And it seems like it's a numbers game. It seems like a personal agenda, not to benefit Miranda. And so it's like everywhere that Miranda is, she has people exploiting her. If a real friend cared about her, that's not how they would have handled it. They would have been like, Miranda, I'm going to put you all over my Instagram and let's talk about that. And I'm going to like post it because I know everyone's talking about you right now. And we're going to play kissy face. And we're going to make a mockery of things.
10 shots in under 60 seconds. Well, it is Friday night, short order. It is Friday night. She wants to take everything from Miranda. Miranda, apparently in her mind, cannot have any friends outside 7M. Correct.
Because that's how it was viewed. It looked like they were mocking things. She looked completely unbothered. And it made her look, Miranda, like a liar. It made Miranda look like, oh, so you're scared, but you're on a red carpet? Like the last place I would be if I was truly scared of the threats I was receiving would be in a public venue on Netflix's red carpet.
Yeah, but she maybe, but then she's living her life. She's saying, your threats, I'm scared, but your threats, I've got life to lead. I'm not going to stop my life or lock myself in my house because I'm scared.
Yeah, she couldn't show up exactly. Like, but Allison took her to a red carpet for Netflix. Why? I wouldn't be on red carpet with Allison Holker doing kissy faces if I were scared. And I certainly, if I was Allison Holker and I had a friend that did a docuseries and two of my friends were talking about the abuse they suffered, and I'm pretty sure Kevin also knows Allison. So I think 3 of her friends have been hurt, at least, if not more. It could have been that Twitch was actually better friends with them. She also hangs out with Slavic all the time because Slavic has good numbers, right? Why aren't you supporting and letting Kylie come up and showcase?
Well, maybe she thinks that being a bit with security in a room full of people with phones would be pretty safe than being alone. I don't have enough alcohol in the house for take every shot. Says short order cook. Hello, BJGW. You don't have. Do you need to DoorDash some or Uber some?
Facing the survivors. Why are you giving the platform to Robert? Why are you validating Robert? All that did was validated Robert because it shows that Miranda has clout and it shows that Miranda has powerful friends and it shows that Miranda is relevant. And so when you choose to bring someone that's at the center of a docuseries, and by the way, no one hates Miranda, what you're saying to the public is, I'm supporting Robert Shin, because you know that everything that Miranda does is for Robert Shin. And then you also know that Robert is having Miranda put out things to hurt her friends that have left and hurt her family. And Kylie has been very hurt by the statements that Miranda has made. But Kylie was friends with Allison too. So what does that say? Why isn't she inviting Kylie out?
Then why are you still on YouTube, KJ? You're scared of Robert Shin. True. So Kylie was upset by Miranda saying that she doesn't feel like she's trapped or she's a victim. And Kylie was offended by Miranda saying that the relationship with her parents has been made worse due to the docuseries. What's that got to do with Kylie? The relationship between. Hello, Bo. Welcome to Comedy Hour.
Because Miranda probably gets better press. So, yeah, they weren't.
We're back to jealousy again, aren't we?
No, Twitch and Allison were not involved. They were not involved. Not at all. I've spoken to like family. They were not involved at all. Just because they're friends with someone doesn't mean they're involved. So yeah, it's just like Allison Holker. She was Twitch's wife. I gotta go, you guys. So I'm gonna go do my work. But that's sort of what's been going on. And always be kind to people. Don't harass them. But I was like on the fence about Allison before, and I was like, I'm gonna give her some like grace because of what she's going through. But like, I can't give grace to someone that's doing stuff like that. Like, I just don't have grace to give after the pain that her friends have gone through, and they've poured their hearts out and are suing him, and they're the ones that are being ignored. I just can't have grace for that because it just.
So she doesn't have grace because she hasn't ditched Miranda.
It's too opportunistic for me. And then those people, what they're
opportunistic, the queen of opportunistic.
You're learning, Kylie, Aubrey, and all these people, is that Hollywood is filled with opportunistic, evil people that only care about themselves. And when you're going through a rough time, you learn who your friends are. And there are not a lot. You do not have friends in Hollywood, like very rarely. It's so competitive. Everyone's trying to come up on everyone else, and they're not going to be there for you when they need you. All right, guys, bye.
Oh boy, wow. There you go. Oh boy, was that a comedy gold or was that comedy gold? Apparently, Bo, birds of a feather flock together means that if you're mean and nasty, that means everybody around you is mean and nasty too. I learned something I never knew. All right, I'm going to go to Llama Girl because she had yesterday's live up about tie-dyes. So let's have a look. All right, so we may as well do this and get this all over and done with. You'll look forward to it. Oh.
Comment that says, this is not a Q&A because I have actually something to share. Recently, I have been diving into and digging into this new thing that one of Robert Shin's dancers is doing. Tight Eyes, who is a very well-known crumper. He is.
Yes, so this was yesterday. So this is where she's going to make all the allegations about Tight Eyes. And then was this the one about birds of a feather? I think this is the birds of a feather one.
The quote unquote like godfather he claims to have. I'm going to pin this. Okay, thank you. Thank you guys. So, okay, so Tight Eyes claims to be the quote unquote godfather of Crump. He claims to have invented Crump, and he has this like sort of like following within the Crump world. And he's been delivering and going through and going on these little where he's trying to teach people about Crump. And he's saying things in these sessions, like telling people like, you reap what you sow, you need to give and not take, basically asking people to give to Crump. And I feel like this could be potentially a new grift. He's going to try to infiltrate the Crump world like he already has and potentially get new followers through Crump. So,
and I did speed up her voice too, because just, I know her hair grew overnight, right?
One thing I just want to mention here is that there was a video that was put out by Crump. So one aspect of Crump, which is a dance from the street, it used to be not about God, and then it became about God when they joined a church called Hospitality, and the pastor named David decided that Crump was going to be for God instead of just street dancing, okay? They completely usurped the Crump movement and made it about God, even though it wasn't originally designed to be about God. And because of that, there's this idea that all of Crump has to be about God, and that wasn't the original format. And there's been a huge split in the Crump community.
As Scouse says, I think Miranda and Robert have now become her and Toad's #1 role play interest. Hitler and even Braun off top. Well, and even Cody and Robin.
Community, because Tight Eyes, this is his second cult that he's been involved in, okay? And there's also debates about...
You don't need that image, she says, but... Well, she'll tell you how much, the video that we've just watched, she'll tell you how much Robert Shin's obsessed with her. So...
He actually really was the founder. There's a woman named Miss Prissy who was another person that started the Crump movement, and she has been very vocal, very, very vocal about Tight Eyes and his indiscretions, his bad behavior, his cult involvement, the way that he is not like a poor influence on other men and women in their communities, and has been very outspoken. So recently, they started this Crump Inc. thing, and he went on a workshop and he gave this like sermon, and then he put out this diss track. Okay, so one part of Crump is that they make music that they dance to, and he put out a beat. Okay, and it's called "Dead to Me," and in his beat, basically what he says. Basically what he says in this beat is that he is getting slandered and that everyone's lying about him, Tight Eyes, okay? And that because everyone's lying about him, he needs to like cut everyone off. He claims that the one way to ruin a man's reputation is to accuse them of beating their woman or rape. And he's talking about himself. And he's claiming that the people that are saying this about him are lying. So there was something in the series that we couldn't talk about because we really couldn't find anyone that wanted to talk about Tight Eyes. We could have probably done an entire episode on Tight Eyes.
Miss Prissy, Prissy, is a dancer. She says she doesn't have extensions, but you can clearly see where the hair ends and the extensions start. Cheap glass says. Yes, I think Miss Prissy is also isn't from the Foghorn Leghorn cartoons. I'm sure that's who you're thinking of, short order, because that's what I thought of too when I first heard her, and I had to Google it. And yes, Miss Prissy Chicken. Miss Prissy is a fictional character in Warner Brothers cartoon. She's typically described as an old spinster hen, thinner than the other hens in the chicken coop, wearing a blue hat. And then Egghead Jr. is Miss Prissy's son, and Miss Prissy was the love interest of Foghorn Leghorn. So there you go.
We could have done an entire episode on Tight Eyes, and we didn't. And so,
but I thought the whole thing was about Robert. I thought it was about Robert. Everything was supposed to be about Robert, but now you're saying it was not supposed to be.
Oh, if you guys are having like issues with this, can you just not leave comments about it? There's really like no need to say buffering. I really am serious because that kind of stuff just really distracts the chat. And this isn't about that. So if you're having problems with replay, just go out and come back in. Don't let the whole chat know that you're having issues. Instagram has been glitching. All right. I want to let people chat and talk. I'm not going to turn off comments. I would just like people to just like, if you're having a problem, go out and come back in, because I can see that everything is fine on my end. If I was having problems, it would tell me. Okay. So
isn't that a Chicken Little? It's really. I'm reading her comments, much more interesting. Yes. That's why I think Llama Girls left her comments on. Someone saved my sanity and confirmed her chin is pointing the opposite way to what you see. That's what everyone's saying.
I'm trying to be very straightforward. I'm not coming out with like I'm not trying to be demeaning or rude. This is a very serious topic.
I'm not trying to be demeaning or rude. All right.
Could have done an entire episode on tie-dyes. And the reason we could have done an entire episode on tie-dyes is because when we were working on the series and when we were doing our investigation, a lot of people were coming forward about tie-dyes. Women.
A lot of people were coming forward about tie-dyes. Women.
On the series and when we were doing our investigation, a lot of people were coming forward about tie-dyes. Women that were involved with him, that were making claims against him. Ex-girlfriends that were accusing him of domestic violence, and women accusing him of sexual assault. Obviously, he's never been charged with any of these crimes. And so we couldn't get anyone to speak about it on record.
So, hang on. So they couldn't get anyone to speak about it on record. So, which means there's no official record. So it could be it's just all allegations for and unsubstantiated. Just flipping the video.
And when no one would speak about it on record, like you can't really tell that story. But there's this lingering issue around him that a lot of people in the Crump world have been talking about. And while we didn't mention it in the series, it is an ongoing discussion in the Crump world about him. And so tie-dyes is almost 40 years old. This is the second cult that he has been in. His first cult was called Hospitality, and he had a pastor named David, who was a registered sex offender who also sexually abused girls in the church and sexually abused women in his church. And tie-dyes was married to a woman named Tanika when he was a teenager, in 2006, and he never got divorced. So he's not actually married to Kendra. It's Robert married them and decided that they were going to be married, and they had a wedding in Robert's house, and it was really sad, apparently. Anyways.
KJ, a lot of people is one. She's such a liar. You can't tell that story. But here she is telling stories, lies. Hello, Chad. Who is we, says Cheap Glass. Well, that's right. Hi, MSC Maria.
So in a video, in a track that tie-dyes put out, he addresses the fact that people are accusing him of rape. And he is suggesting that this is other people that have also raped their girls. So his explanation is the same people that are accusing me of raping my girls and beating my girls are the same ones that are raping and beating their girls. It's this mindset that I've heard.
I was going to say, well, if they were young and teenagers, was it a legal marriage? I don't know. What if they got married in Mexico? Well, I don't know. I mean, we know that Miranda and B-Dash had to, have proven, she admitted that their marriage was real.
Heard before from another person close to tie-dyes where it's everyone has dirt. So if tie-dyes did it, they're going to accuse someone else of doing it. And I'm not saying that this is what he did, but he talks about this in this track and says, like, the best way to kill a guy's reputation is to accuse them of rape. So in the same track, he is so degrading towards Miss Prissy. He is so misogynistic towards her. It's actually repulsive. And I'm not going to share that because I clipped together some of the things that he said, but what he said about Miss Prissy was horrible. And I just want to be clear, like Miss Prissy, I've spoken to her and she's not a terrible human. She
Of course she has.
actually just really cares about the Crump community, and she doesn't like watching a predator that she believes in tie-dyes infiltrating and hurting people in the community. And Prissy has a very, like, she's danced for everyone. She is such an acclaimed, talented dancer. And she's very vocal, and she's in a very male-dominated industry in the Crump world. And so her voice gets drowned out sometimes, but she's very well respected. So she's not the only one that are saying these things about him, right? Anyways, in the same clip, he then goes on to defend Robert Shin. And so what he says is, he told you all that I don't believe there's captions during live streams. You might have to watch it on replay. Captions on lives, I don't know. That would be set up by Instagram. I apologize that I can't help you. I'm sorry. You might need to watch. They wouldn't be able to hear me. So if someone wants to leave a comment for that person to let them know that like it's a live stream, and if they'd like to watch replay, captions should be on back then. So okay. So anyways, with tie-dyes, he said, no one should touch the anointed. So if you watched the series, you should know that Robert.
She's so distracted to write short order. And Chad says, KJ calls herself a reporter but isn't recognised as a reporter, no credentials. Why can't tie-dyes be recognised as married if he says he is? Well, that's right.
Shin says that
there's also civil marriages as well. So, you know.
In the series, when he finds out that everyone's exposing him, he says, if anyone touches the anointed, they will be harmed. And we will silence any critic, and we will go after, and I get cranky because no one messes with the anointed. And so in his track, tie-dye says, he all told you that no one messes with the anointed. So Robert has them believing that they're anointed by God, better than you and me, better than everyone else, picked by God to do God's work and go make God's army of Robert robots. And so he's telling people, like, you better not mess with me. In the same track, then he goes after the dancers that have left. And he says that this pastor gave us some money, and we should just be thankful for the money that we get. Basically, I'm summing this up, because we weren't making any money anyway. We were not doing well in the world of dance. We weren't ever making money in dance. So Robert just like gave us some money and he helped us out, and now we're doing really well. And so we should be grateful.
According to this, crumping, what does the word crump mean? It's said to come from a 1990s song. Young dancers then turned it into an acronym, Kingdom Radically Uplifted Mighty Praise. But it's really up to the individual who is uplifted. So this is an article from born in California. Oh yeah, that's the Tommy the Clown one. So she read too much into that track to twist her narrative. Yeah. All right. Oh, Nicole. Right, next one, part 3. Is she saying Ches is tight eyes? Is that right? Because I'm not. I'm really. She's interchanging all of these names. Oh, you can't hear her? Okay. Oh, hang on. It says. Oh, yeah. Well, let's. Oh, she interchanges names. All right. Let me just stop this. All right, I believe that it didn't carry across. So thank you for telling me. You thought it was paused on purpose. So you mean I've sat here and I've been listening to her carry on for all this time and you couldn't hear?
After that, he then goes after the lawsuit and says, and now these same people want us to pay them damages. I want to be really clear to Tight Eyes. Dude, no one is suing you. I don't see your name is nowhere in the complaint. Tight Eyes, I'm just going to be honest. Cesare Willis, are you there?
Yeah, you'll be wishing that it was still paused. Shorter.
You're not sued. No one is suing you. You're not being sued. And if you actually read the complaint, you would know who is suing. And it's not just your friends going after for damages. It's interesting that you would defend Robert, who is a accused R and fraudster, when you're claiming you have your own accusations. It's almost like birds of a feather are flocking together. You know, I have a lot of sympathy for the men in this cult, but I don't have any sympathy for Ches. And I don't have sympathy because he knows better. He knew what he was getting into. He wants money. I've talked to so many people, they don't believe he's even remotely brainwashed. He's just willing to go along with whatever Robert says because he wants money. Ches is an opportunist, in my opinion. He will go anywhere where he can get a little bit of clout and a little bit of attention and a little bit of money. He was on horrible terms.
It's interesting that she throws in my opinion. But however, she's stating everything as fact, and she's just throwing in my opinion so she can try and say she's giving her opinion. But she's not giving her opinion because anyone that gets questioned.
With James and this whole group of people until that he saw that they were getting a little bit of success. And then suddenly he's like Johnny on the spot. And he wants to know what James is doing in this group. And suddenly he's going to the Bible studies and he is like taking over and usurping it from everyone else. And now he's like trying to be Robert's second in command. And anyone I speak to, they're like, there is no way. I'm talking about friends that have known Ches for decades that have said there is no way that he is brainwashed. Ches is, they say, a narcissistic megalomaniac that
Whoa, she's pulling out the big words now. And of course, we've got to have the narcissistic in there. But isn't that her? I mean, she has that obsessive desire for power.
that cannot be manipulated. And he will just go along with it because he wants money, because he wants clout, because his career was dying and he was losing. He had lost all credibility in the world of Crump because he dragged everyone into a cult. And then he acted poorly and degraded people while he was in that cult. And then he did a whole big apology to everyone as soon as he got out of the cult, and it came out that the pastor was a pedophile. Then he does this apology tour and promises he'll never do it again. And then lo and behold, like 2 years later, he's doing it again. And he's doing it again where he's being rude to people, degrading people, lashing out at them, accusing people of doing things they haven't done. He's literally been spending a lot of his time going after Kevin Concrete for absolutely no reason.
Some people don't believe in the covenant with the state and only church marriage. I'm not saying this is the case, but it is plausible. Correct.
Actually spoke to Kevin last week, and he's like, doesn't understand why Tight Eyes is like going at him so hard, because when he left the church, they were not on bad terms. Like, he said that he still cared about them, he wanted to have a relationship with them, and that he told them that no matter what, we would always be brothers and sisters. And then this, like, attacking him constantly and attacking the other dancers and attacking those that have left, has literally been something that has been ongoing, and it's only gotten worse in the last 2 years. To now it's at a point where Tight Eyes is ruining relationships with people that he didn't have to have ruined to begin with. But he's attacking Kevin, and he's attacking Aubrey, and he's attacking Kylie, and he's attacking Kalia by claiming that he's being sued and they're going to have to pay damages. No. You're not being sued. Robert Shin is being sued. If you want to get added to the lawsuit, maybe you could keep spitting your mouth. But right now, no one is suing you. Robert is being sued for sex trafficking. Robert is being sued for gender violence, for trafficking, for fraud, for unjust enrichment. His wife is being sued for physical battery, aiding and abetting trafficking. So you're not being sued. And if Robert loses in court, you're going to be paying for the damages because you're the fool that is giving all of the money to Robert.
She couldn't keep track of her own, and we all know how that ended. So you think she'd keep other people's allegations out of her mouth. Good point, Scouse.
And telling people that because they didn't come from money, they should just be satisfied that Robert throws them a bag every once in a while is like encouraging the human trafficker. It's like, oh yeah, well, he got you those shoes. He let you buy those shoes, so you should be grateful. He gave you this opportunity. No. Whether you come from money or don't come from money doesn't change the fact that if you work, you deserve to be paid. And not all of your money is supposed to go to your pastor and your manager.
Well, that's what is she being sued? Yeah. So we've still got, we've got 6 parts. All right.
How's that, Robert? Like to know. You're living in housing of Roberts. You're driving a car of Roberts. You don't have an address that's searchable, Ches, because before you met Robert, your history of evictions and credit problems were so significant that he's taking advantage of you clearly, but you don't care because as long as you're there, you make money. But the truth about Tight Eyes is that he can't leave because if he leaves, no one will accept him back, okay? People will accept James back with an open arm. Everyone from Crump and everyone from their town where they all grew up, because they all grew up together, loves James. They would accept.
I've sped it up, Maria. I've actually put it on to 1.5 because, so yeah, because I want to get this over and done with.
James in a heartbeat. James is someone that everyone loves, that everyone's worried about. They feel like he's being exploited by Robert because he's a very vulnerable person. And I don't want to go into details about why James is vulnerable. I'm just going to say that he is. And Ches is not. Ches is not a vulnerable person. And James would be accepted. Ches would not be accepted. But because James looks up to Ches so much, because Ches was like the godfather of Crump and even gave James his name. So B-Dash, his name comes from Ches. They all started Crump together. They were all in a cult before. They all were put in arranged marriages before. And now James is in this cult. And he would leave. I bet you $1 million. James would leave if Ches would leave. If Tight Eye said, I'm done, we're not going to do this anymore, James would follow Ches out the door. Because that's how much he looks up to Ches. He would leave in 2 seconds if Ches was like, we can't do this. We can't be in here anymore. Ches knows that James looks up to him. Ches knows that James looks to him like a big brother, like a mentor. James has a family that has gone through a ton. His mom has a severe disability because she had a surgery that went horribly wrong. And she is in a vegetative state. The sister that he does speak to, don't be fooled by the sister's pictures on Instagram. He doesn't see his sister that frequently. James has always had.
Who sees their siblings all the time? I don't see my siblings all the time. Does that mean that I'm the same as Tight Eyes? So he doesn't see his sister frequently. Whoopie-doo.
He doesn't see his sister that frequently.
Well, when does she see her brother? I mean, that's just.
James has always had a very aloof relationship with his family and with his friends. Everyone you'll speak to about James will tell you about he's like in the clouds. He's like doing his own thing constantly. He just is sort of like aloof. But now they're positioning in this as like he has this great relationship with his sister. I'm guessing he's seen her a couple times in a few years. But now they're suddenly all together, and sister is pushing out Robert's propaganda. But James is so easily manipulated because of him, because of what's going on inside of him, that he needs someone to push him out the door. And Ches is holding him there. And the only reason Ches is staying is because he knows he can't leave. Because if Ches leaves, he has nothing. And so it's almost like he's punishing James by staying, because James would leave and he would have his friends back and he would have his family back. He has a whole community that loves him, that desperately wants him back, that wants him away from Tie-Dyes, aka Ches. And they all believe that it's not Robert that's holding him there, but it's Ches. Ches is the one that has become Robert's bulldog.
So it's not Robert's fault now. It's Tie-Dye's fault.
He's the one that's on there. And I just want to say this too. No godly man that I've ever heard of uses the language that Ches uses in his work, in his raps or his crump songs or whatever they are. His language is atrocious. The way he speaks about women is degrading. No Christian man should ever refer to a woman in the way that Ches refers to a woman. And then he wonders why there's accusations around him for domestic violence and rape.
And it's interesting because one of the comments said,
how are you treating Kendra? Because I've heard from Kendra's friends, it's not great. My biggest thing with Ches is that he has all of the power, and he is literally holding James and Miranda and the rest of them hostage in this situation because he knows if he leaves, he has nothing. But the rest of them all have something. Hi, Haley. The rest of them all have something. They all have something. Ches has nothing. That's how selfish he is. Ches is like a megalomaniac narcissist. And these are my opinions on Ches. And I think a lot of us have the same opinion. We are worried about Nick. We're worried about Vic. We're worried about James. We're worried about Miranda. We're very worried about Kendra because she's with Ches. But Ches and Robert are two peas in a pod. They
are the accusations anyone would like to think they were charges if they listen to KJ. So it isn't Shin, but this other guy. Yes, A. Lauman. Yes, it would be. Has she mentioned the husband lately? No, Sunshine and Rain, no. And yet she talks about Robert being obsessed with her, but we know that she's obsessed with him. I thought it was that was holding them hostage or something.
They're the same human being. They are cut from the same cloth.
Hang on. Now she's saying
they
they're
are
the same
cut
person.
From the same. They are cut from the same cloth. Yes, same human being. They are cut from the.
So they're the same person.
Because she's with Ches. But Ches and Robert are two peas in a pod. They are the same human being.
Hang on. So now she's saying they're the same person.
They are the same human being.
Now the two peas in a pod. She got that off someone's chat too. They were talking about her.
In a pod. They are the same human being.
So they're the same person. So they can't be peas in the pod if they're the same person.
Two peas in a pod. They are the same human being.
They are the same human being. We're just going to have to listen to that again.
They are the same human being.
There's two of them. They are two peas. They are two pea feathers in a bird pod. So there's two of them, but one.
Two peas in a pod. They are the same human being. They are cut from the same cloth. Yes, Ches has a child, and I don't think he sees that child very well. I agree with you. Hold on. Wait. Ches is Tie-Dyes. I don't call him Tie-Dyes because I think it's just a ridiculous name, and I would rather call him the name that everyone knows him by. In the real world, he's Ches. I'm not going to call him Tie-Dyes. That's his crump name. And I'm not going to call James B-Dash because that's his crump name. Neither one of them, at this point in time, are representing crump in a way that is uplifting or helpful to anyone in that community. Neither one of them is representing or demonstrating what a man in that community should be doing. And the men that are demonstrating that and are being good guys are getting degraded constantly by Ches. He has been going after Beast, who's little tight eyes, and been so
Hang on. Now there's a little tight eyes. Listen.
Ches. He has been going after Beast, who's little tight eyes.
Who's a little tight eyes? There's a miniature one. So now we've got we've got two different guys, Robert and tight eyes, who are actually the one person. And then there's a little tight eyes now. So now we've got three. Is this like the Holy Trinity? The 3 in 1? I don't know about that. Are peas and the pod clones, are they related to pod people? I'm wondering if she's talking about the Holy Trinity. The Robert, the tight eyes, and the little tight eyes.
He has been going after Beast, who's little tight eyes, and been so nasty to Beast because Beast will call him out for who he is and say that's fraud. What he's doing there is fraud. What he's doing there is that's a false prophet he's following. That's bullcrap. And he's calling out Kevin because Kevin said, I wasn't going to have my wife around a rapist. I didn't want to have my wife around a rapist. I didn't want my wife to be around a man that had a bunch of women that were accusing him of rape. I didn't want my wife around a man who was fondling the other female dancers, grabbing their butts, getting too touchy, grabbing their legs.
Allegedly. Because no one's put any allegations down officially.
Hip thrusting them from behind.
Hip thrusting from behind. Yeah. Hang on.
So, yeah, Kevin has done nothing in this path but be truthful, be honest, and try to be as grabbing their butts, getting too touchy, grabbing their legs, hip thrusting them from behind.
Hip thrusting from behind. Hip thrusting from behind. I don't believe Matt is. Gee whiz! All the choreography from Grease the musical is gone. KJ's jealous that no one's touching her knees.
So, yeah, Kevin has done nothing in this path but be truthful, be honest, and try to be as to the point and direct as possible about why he left, why he stood up for his wife, why he refused to allow his wife to be in an unsafe situation, why he didn't want to be associated and put in an unsafe situation, and he doesn't deserve to be degraded in tracks, nor does Prissy, nor does Beast, nor does anyone. And if you watch any of the videos that Tight Eyes, aka Ches, puts out, they're hateful. They're mean. Kevin is a real man. He is. Kevin is a good guy. I've gotten to know Kevin. And like Kevin's wife is Kalia. Kevin is like who Kevin is. Like he's just not gonna put up with bullshit. And Robert couldn't control him and he had questions and Robert didn't like him because he had questions. And Robert told Kevin that he was too smart and he was left out of events because Kevin wanted the answers for things. Kevin has also said that Robert is a horrible speaker, terrible pastor, doesn't even know the word, that they could all literally do laps around their biblical knowledge around Pastor Shin. But because Shin is telling them that he's going to make them rich and famous, they're staying.
Again, where's all the proof of this? Why aren't these people coming out and talking?
Still married to Tanika. And I speak to Tanika and some of her sisters, and I speak to James's ex-wife, Angela. I speak to actually a lot of people that went to hospitality with them, the first cult. So I'm very keenly aware of like how what David did in the first cult is very similar to what's happening with what's Robert doing. But I've not talked to a single person from there that they all grew up with that believes that Ches is brainwashed. They said that Ches is there because he's getting something from Robert and he wants to probably be like Robert. So if you're Ches and you see the world burning down around you and you just dig in your heels and you know that if you were to leave, your friends would go too, and you're keeping your friends there, you're no better than Robert. You're no better than Robert. You have the same allegations against you. You have the same behaviors that you've been accused of. You know, in the Baptist church, how there's a lot of pedophiles and they all say like birds of a feather flock together. There's something to be said there, right? Birds of a feather flock together.
And so Kevin so well, but the only thing she can say about is the Kevin and Kevin. Now she's making allegations towards the Baptist church.
They will have no respect for me because I'm a woman and they don't care. I'm not worried to speak out about this because this is being talked about right now in the Crump world. Like, so many of you don't know the Crump side of things because it wasn't really a part of the series, but Crump is a huge part of the story, and the entire Crump community is rejecting Ches and exposing him for who he is, and he doesn't like that. I'm not the first one to say this. Kevin's been saying it. Spartan's been saying it. Beast has been saying it. It's a huge part of the story.
Good point. If the people in the cult aren't allowed to talk, then how is she getting all the story? Interesting.
They're actively talking about it on social media all the time. So me saying anything now is nothing new. The allegations against Ches have been for years, and we just couldn't get anyone to speak about it on camera. All right. So
wasn't it all supposed to be about Robert? So no one would have talked about it on camera because it was about Robert.
Oh, and get back to my work. Beast is another Crump dancer, and Spartan is a Crump dancer, and Concrete's a dancer. I don't know what Beast's real name is. He goes by Beast, but I have to go. But yeah, follow Concrete if you haven't followed Concrete. He goes live with Spartan a lot, and they talk about it a lot. Spartan and him are trying to like keep people in the know about what's happening here, and it's important that people understand that Tie-Dyes is in a cult, and he's trying to recruit people into the cult, and that's not acceptable. All right, you guys. Bye.
So that was her live she did, and then the one.
If you don't value a woman, and you're going to speak about women like this in your songs, how are you treating?
So then she's followed up with today's one. So that is, I mean, I must say the one that we watched earlier was hilarious. So for those of you that have come in late or on the replay crew, please make sure that you watch the replay because it was hilarious. Yes, it wasn't part of the story because it couldn't be. I've noticed she has repeatedly said this isn't part of the story, but it wasn't part of the story because it could confirmed as publicly litigious, and that's probably correct too. I would agree with that because they needed to make sure that they were covered. Sorry, I'm yawning. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I'm a bit tired. I could. Yeah. So she hasn't done any updates on her police investigation, has she? I'll watch, but I'm going to wait a bit so chat loads. Oh yeah, we were always having. Yeah, we did have a lot of fun because there was a lot of. I think there's some great moments in there. I'm going to have to cut the part where she says they're two peas in the pod. They're the same human being. I think that's another one of the great KJ quotes. I think she's forgotten. Yes, I would say she has probably forgotten about the plot line. See, that's when we go back to this, right? Go back. She says my opinion, because this person says, Lisa on the beat, there are a lot of people in the Crump world that need to wake up and stop following his man. So she's saying that she's essentially saying that Robert is she needs to get her head out the sand. Curious what would happen if she's unable to dance due to an illness or injury. Would Robert still want her in his religion if she stopped earning? And she said he'd put her to work somewhere else. It's interesting that they're talking about her dance videos are so cringy. I tell you what I saw was cringy. I saw one of Melanie's videos today, and I just thought it looked so fake. Where I thought, Miranda looks so natural. And I even saw a video of Kylie, and I thought, again, she looks so cringe. Oh, look at this. Oh, so let's have a look at Miranda's. Quickly look at Miranda's stories that she said was all set up by Robert.
Asking, baby, please.
There you go. That's what she's saying. So she believes this is her.
We should stick together right now. I said it now.
She's saying that's Robert. So what's she saying about the watermelon? She said James isn't in her videos anymore. It looks like who she is. He's a very cute puppy, isn't it? Then we go to this one. How's this? Look at this. Who would you rather watch? It says light without a crystal ball. Well, that's right. She was never in the cult. You're correct. She was never in the cult. So, and then we go to because oh no, it still says updates out without a crystal ball. They have not changed their view about her yet. Doc info. Because Snapchat is Melanie Dancer.
The Social Security office, and I am now legally, officially an Eckler. Just got real, people.
I had to do a later workout today, and the OGs know if I have to work out later in the day, it is such a struggle.
Mm. Mm. I think so. I do think so. Anyway. Rest in peace, my last name. No. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining me and joining this live. I think Melanie does. She strikes me as a bit of a mean girl as well. Anyway, I need to go to bed. And I'm running out of my free time on here. So I decided to try StreamYard, and you only get so much free a month. So I need to watch the amount of time I go live now. I'm getting the end of my hours. So I've got to work out what I'm going to do. I might have to jump back to restream for a little bit. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for all of your support. I hope you enjoyed the IBDM reviews. I thought they were great. If you haven't seen them, check them out. Essentially, the docu-series has got slammed. Lots of people have said it wasn't great. I still haven't seen it. So look, keep a track. I'm actually taking Harrison to an AFL game tomorrow. He likes this team, and I'm taking him. It's about a 2.5 hour drive to go watch this local team play that he likes, and he's going to have a great day. So I'll be out of action tomorrow. I'm actually living life tomorrow, so doing life things. I'm being the good auntie. So anyway, I want to thank you all. If you could do me a favor and hit like for me, and I will catch you next time for some more crazy. I hope we don't have some more crazy. I'd like to do some other topic videos. There's a few that I've got in mind. But until next time, bye for now.